Hi, everyone, and welcome to Talk 51. And today we're going to talk about trying to change our thinking so that we actually become a little bit more positive. Many of us, although we've got some lovely bright weather, it's actually gorgeous at the moment. The sun's shining, very cold, and we actually had a real frost overnight, even a bit of snow, but it's dry, the sun's there. But despite that, sometimes we can feel still as if we're almost trapped in the winter blues and the lockdown blues. It's all still there. And sometimes we need something to just really sort of make us snap out of that. So here's a few tips that might help you just to get on the right track. So first of all, how do you start your day? Well, we can start it on positives if we plan it that way. When you open your eyes in the morning, what's the first thing you see? Is it that pile of ironing that you thought you might get to but didn't, so you shoved it in the bedroom out the way? Is it a stack of mail that maybe needs attending to? Or is it just you left the duster and the polish because you meant to do your room but you didn't get to it, and that's now sitting there saying, hi, you didn't do this room and it really needs doing? All that's quite negative. So if you've got something that's really wonderful, something that makes you smile, it could be a photograph of somebody that you love. Now, that could be your husband, it could be your sister, it could be your best pal, it could be your grandchildren, anything you like, or it could just be a picture somewhere that you would love to go or have been that brings back happy memories. Or if you're lucky enough to have a little dog, my friend's got one who has been an absolute joy to her. And this little soul actually gets on the bed and just licks her until she wakes up in the morning. And she finds that makes her wake up with a smile every day. So think about the positives. We need to get up with a smile. And even when you walk through to get your breakfast, what does your kitchen look like? Did you leave it a mess from the night before? Again, it'll have a negative effect on you. Have you got a nice wee vase of flowers? It could be perhaps just, those little bunches that cost £1 from the supermarkets of daffodils. Those sitting on your kitchen table will really make you smile. So make sure perhaps instead of leaving everything a mess, you packed everything away and you've laid out the table ready for breakfast. You'll think, oh, good, I did that. It's all done. Perhaps you've loaded your washing machine, ready to turn it on as soon as you get up. Another tick before you've done anything. All positives. Second, don't dwell on negatives. Wrong things will happen. Accidents. You spill your coffee. The milk jug in the fridge got knocked and there's no milk all over the fridge and you've got to take everything out and clean it all. Or it could be that you burnt your toast, whatever. At that point, it is very easy to start saying to yourself, oh, it's going to be one of those days. I just know it. It's going to be rotten all day. What you're doing is convincing yourself in your brain that it is going to be one of those days. It will be negative. Instead of which, we should just deal with whatever happens. It's an isolated incident. Just because you've done one doesn't mean there'll be more. Deal with it at the time and get rid of it out of your brain. Don't dwell on it. Don't think about it. Number 3, appreciate the good things. And these are often little things. You've made yourself a cup of tea and you think, oh, I've really enjoyed that cup of tea. Give yourself just a few moments to enjoy that, to think, that was absolutely lovely. Or it could be something like you go out in the morning and there on your step, you've got a little pot and there's a plant you thought was dead and there's a bud. There's a leaf bud on it and you think, oh, great. It's so easy. I went for a walk with my lovely daughter today. It was a beautiful day, but we went up onto the high road, the old Drove Road off Humby Road. We were up high, the sun was shining, there were little lambs in the field, we were surrounded by green, which as we know is very good for us. And my daughter just stopped at one point and she said, are we not so lucky to have this on our doorstep? And we are. And we just stood for a minute thinking, this is great, lovely fresh air, lovely sunshine, great company. It's all the things that we need in life. So really try and concentrate on what's good in your life rather than the negatives. Number 4, stop the blame game. Now, we can all be, I think, guilty of this, where it's always somebody else's fault. I mean, at the moment, well, as soon as this lockdown is over, we might be able to get on with life. Well, we need to live life now. You can't really continue to blame somebody else for you being unhappy because very often it's just your state of mind, how you view things, how you react to things. Think that everybody in the world has been subjected to the problems of this pandemic. It's been awful, and in some countries, far, far worse than it's been for us. People have found ways to cope. People find, if you like, good things. We've all talked about the charitable things that people have done, the kindness that we come across. So where we can, stop blaming other people, other things, take responsibility. We can decide to be happy. Now, I don't mean that you're going to be happy all the time. Nobody is happy 24/7. but we can make the most of any given situation. And if we do that, we will be much happier, much more positive people. Another one, number 5, is try and think like you're on holiday. Now, I know using that word holiday is perhaps a sore subject for a lot of people, but we maybe not been on holiday last year. Perhaps you won't get on holiday this year. But think about how you behave when you're on holiday. You do different things. You'll take up different things. You'll try things. You'll go and see things that you've never seen before. It could be you eat differently. You keep different hours. You stay up differently. You'll stay up late at night. Maybe you'll lie in the morning, whatever. You'll sit for longer over breakfast when you're on holiday. Try and get yourself back into that frame of mind so that you are now looking at thinking, well, what I know, I'll take up something different. I'll do something that maybe really interests me. Anything at all. It could be something as lovely as going out and doing a bit of painting, or it could be that you just get yourself outside, get your hula hoop in the garden and go for it. Would you normally do that? Well, I certainly wouldn't. I've got the hula hoops and I have done it in the past. Even if your neighbours think it's hysterical, you have brought joy to the world. So get your hula hoop out or do something, but certainly try and get yourself into that holiday frame of mind. Maybe think of different foods that you can have, perhaps eat at different times. And if you're going for walks and things, go somewhere you've not been before. And very soon things are going to open up a bit so that we can actually travel within Scotland. So maybe you'll be able to go for some lovely days out. And that can be like going on holiday. So plan it and make sure that you stick to that. Number 6, when people say, how are you? Now, I know we've talked about this before. How do you answer? Because of our situation, the majority of people at very best go, well, get in there, we've all got the same thing, and it's all a bit, well, it's a matter of fact, but a bit doom and gloom. Or it could be as bad as, oh, I'm shattered all the time. I'm fed up with this. I'm really down. I'm very lonely. I mean, this is just too much. And all this lockdown is just awful. If you answer like that, one, you're reinforcing those thoughts in your own mind. You're passing them on to someone else who's going to think, sorry, I asked. But also it might open the doors for them to say, I know. I feel dreadful as well, and I'm lonely, and I'm just sick of this. What about all those things you can't get in the shops anymore? And before you know it, you've both talked yourself so low and so down that you leave each other feeling miserable. As opposed to, something we've talked about before, is when someone says, how are you? Just say, I'm great. Or really good, and then tell them why. Some people won't ask, and it could be just, oh, do you know, I had the most beautiful walk the other day, or something happened, somebody gave you a compliment, or you achieved something, you did a job you've been longing to do, you don't know why you put it off, now it's all done, you feel so much better having done it. You'll make both of you feel much, much better. So remember, how are you is not eliciting a negative response. It should be, if you can, a positive. You don't have to go over the top, but try and be positive. You'll be amazed how you can convince yourself that you really are feeling much happier than you did. And the last one is the people that are surrounding us at the moment. It could be that you have been in lockdown with one person, or it could be that you've been completely on your own, or maybe that you have been in lockdown with a family. Perhaps they're driving you up the wall. We can all be irritated by people, our family, our friends, our husband, grandchildren, whatever. You think, oh, just had enough. When you get to that point, again, it's easy to start taking the downward road. Try to think before you have a big fallout. What is it? Let's say you've had a fallout with your husband. Rather than going down the negative route, just think, okay, he's done that and it really irritates me, but why did I fall in love with him in the first place? He'd be like, oh, here she goes, Pollyanna, but worth a try. Why did you fall in love with him in the first place? What was it about him? Name 3 things about him now that you still love. Please don't say you haven't got any. Find 3 things that you still love about the poor guy, or that he has about you. Ask him, what 3 things do you love best about me now? Not years ago, now. It might give you both a laugh. What about if it's a friend who's perhaps, I don't know, she's just irritating you with it, or perhaps she's just, things she's saying, she's moaning all the time or whatever. Try and think along the lines of, how good a friend has that person been to you over the years? How long have you been friends? What great things have you done together? When did you last sit and laugh together? What was it that made you laugh? Some friends of mine who are very, very close friends recently put together a video, and it was of old home movies. Now, it was from years ago. We were very young, and the children were absolute babies. They were toddlers. just, sort of stomping about. And it went through a few years. But of course, when do you take photographs and videos? It's all of happy times. And just looking at that movie that they sent to me really gave me a lift. Now, my husband was in this movie, and at first I thought, oh, I did have a tear in my eye when I first saw him. But overall, after I'd watched it all, it was a feeling of happiness. They were fantastic times. I love my children to bits. I've now got grandchildren who are that age. My friends, they're still in my life. They are still the most brilliant of friends, and I don't know what I'd do without them. So try to think about things in a positive manner. It will help us get through these next few weeks as we lead into the lifting of restrictions. And then as things open up, we'll talk about this again because it will take some time for us to readjust to all that, but we'll get there. But in the meantime, we are living, we're not waiting, we are living now and we're happy now. So be happy, keep smiling, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye bye.